Wen knew that a tough time was just waiting for her. After finishing the lab, Wen had to rush to Hobie's cabin to study the patient's history as he had already informed her to assist him during the rounds. Wen could feel one by one cramps hitted her abdomen. Wen closed her eyes and clenched her teeth. The pain was so severe that at this point she just wanted to give up everything, but she knew that she couldn't. During the rounds, one was amazed seeing at Hobie how talented and hardworking actually he was. One could also find her own mistakes during the rounds. Obviously, she wasn't as flawless as Dr. Hosak was. Everything was normal till a series of solid cramps hit her abdomen. At that moment, it was almost impossible for her to stand still, but they were on rounds, and usually rounds are fast and well prepared. One just stood still while Hobie already moved to the next patient. Hobie's mind was eagerly waiting for Wen's turn, but he turned his face and saw Wen was standing still during the busy rounds. Hobie, Dr. Lee Wen, please follow me and help me with the patient's history. Just a few more patients and we are ready to hand over our duties. Hobie forgot that she was on her period, and after the hectic day, even he was exhausted, so it was natural to be exhausted for her too. Somehow, Wen could manage to help him with the patient's history. She quickly went to Hobie's cabin and completed her work and submitted on his table. She was about to get out from the cabin when she heard, Dr. Lee Wen, please wait for me. Hobie said to her, I have almost completed my work. We'll go home together. Please? Wen wanted to go home badly, but now it seems like she has to wait for a few minutes. Hobie left the cabin while incoming call from Jiu flashed on Wen's phone. Wen, 여보세요? Jiu, hey Wen, tell me, how exciting is your love life? Wen broke down in tears while answering Jiu. He's a heartless beast. He's so rude, so cruel. I don't know why I have fallen for that person. Jiu, did he scold you? Wen looked here. No one is born stone-hearted. He had always been a little rude as a professor, yet extra caring as Wen. Extra caring husband? Are you joking? Hobie entered into the cabin. Can you share the same joke with me? Wen, bye Jiu. Wen quickly wiped her tears and lowering her face, she quietly grabbed her backpack and walked towards the door. Hobie, what happened to you? Few seconds ago you were joking around and now you are quiet. What a duality. Hobie also grabbed his bag and followed Wen. Wen was angry but slowly melted like chocolate as Hobie started walking beside her and intended to hold her wrist. Soon they reached at the door. Hobie unlocked the door. They entered into the dorm, and soon Wen found herself pinned at the wall, and another series of solid cramps attacked. Wen just freed herself and rushed to the bedroom. She was tired as hell, so she decided to take a quick shower as all she could think about that to feel refreshed. In the other side, Hobie was still confused by Van's sudden weird behavior. He was a little disappointed too at this time because every time he had entered into the home or Van entered into the home or they both entered into the home, they used to kiss each other. It was like unwritten rule of their domestic life. Hobie casually walked into the bedroom and saw Van to go to the washroom, and then he remembered that Van got her periods just last night. He started realizing how painful it was for her to be super busy throughout the whole day. He felt very inferior when he remembered that he scolded her during the rounds. He realized that she wasn't looking so pale because she was tired. She was looking like that because it was extremely painful for her. Van closed the door of the washroom from inside and cried her heart out, sitting under the shower. It might be her mood swings, it might because of Hobie's rude behavior, it might because she still expected at least some caring words at the end of the day, but when calmed down after some time, she quickly cleaned up herself and, wrapping a towel around her body, she walked out from the washroom. Fresh napkin with fresh undergarment. One quickly put on, and then she was looking for her camisole, but unfortunately she couldn't find it. She wasn't that much energetic at that moment, so she decided to take a quick nap with the towel before studying at the night. It was almost 9 o'clock in the night when opened her eyes. She was feeling better now. She stretched her arms and then realized that she was wearing a comfortable shirt. Her water dripping wet hair was also dry. She got up from the bed in a hurry to check whether she stained the bedsheet. I will be surprised if you don't stain the bedsheet. One startled as she heard those words. Hobie turned his face and said to Van, fortunately, I didn't stain it. I'm sorry for surprising you in this way. Hobie got up from the chair and walked towards her. I'm sorry. You had to work tirelessly all day. Even after lab, I kind of forced you to assist me. One didn't say a single word to reply Hobie. She quietly sat on the bed. Hobie noticed tears welling up in Van's eyes. He walked towards the bed and sat next to her. Why are you crying? I'm sorry. He gently touched her chin and made her to look at him, but she refused, so her eyes were still closed. Hobie, okay, Mrs. Chong, don't you want to know how it was when we first time? When shook her head in disagreement. Hobie, okay, so you don't want to know how the towel wrapped around your body turned into a shirt? And Hobie noticed Van's cheeks were red as tomato. Hobie, so can I hug my wife? Van, no. Hobie, may I know why? Van, no. Hobie, if I apologize for that unknown mistake of mine? Van, tell me honestly, weren't you extra rude and unreasonable towards me? Particularly towards me? Hobie took her into his embrace and laid down on the bed. And for a few moments, Van was simply amazed by this smooth action of Hobie. Hobie, I'm sorry, I can't pamper you, I can't spoil you. Every single time, I'm really sorry for that, and I want to confess one thing. When what? Hobie, I forgot that you were on pain throughout the whole day. Maybe you denied to use the menstrual cup, and that hurt my ego. I'm sorry. Van tried to break his embrace, but she wasn't strong enough to do that, and the next moment she was so close to him that she could hear his heartbeat. Hobie, why don't you try menstrual cup? When I swear I tried, but the tampon or menstrual cup things are just not for me. Hobie, don't think I'm pressurizing you just because I want you to use that, but to be honest, in LDR during the normal deliveries, you might not get chance to change. Wen was about to reply something, but another series of cramps attacked. She just flinched and closed her eyes. Hobby saw her facial expressions and could easily guess that she was in pain. Gently patted on her shoulder. You should take some medicine, he said. When? I took naproxen, but Hobby, when did you take? When? After lunch hours, I took a naproxen 550 mg and I took another naproxen 550. Hobby, wait, what? Did you take two? Within 12 hours? When? I know just 2 hours ago I took the last med, but it seems like Hobby, while checking her pulse. You can't have more than 1375 mg of naproxen per day, and still, if you are feeling the pain, then when? Can you give me anything else? Hobby, how's the pain? Strong? When? Yeah. Hobby got up and went to the kitchen area where he usually keeps the medkit box. And soon he came back to the bedroom. When? You didn't have to take the whole kit, just one pill. Hobby, don't get mad or angry, but at the end of the day, I am a doctor. When frowned. Why did you bring the kit back then? Hobby, I'll unable to sleep if you suffer from pain throughout the whole night, and for tomorrow I need to sleep tonight. When yeah, the next moment when realized the meaning of Hobby's words as Hobby took out a syringe and medicine from the kit bag. She planned to hide inside the washroom, so she quickly got out of the bed and was about to move towards the washroom, but another series of cramps hitting her abdomen caused her to stop at the place where she was standing. Bobby glanced at her while preparing for the shot. Don't try to hide in the washroom, it's an old trick. Please try something new, wifey. When? Please skip the needle. Please, please, please. Hobby, do you want to finish your pending assignments tonight? When? Yeah, but Hobby, believe me, I have a special gift for you. When? Gift? For me? Hobby, if you try to escape, I will give you a brand new restraint. Believe me. When? If I don't? Hobby, it will help you to reminisce our chemistry. When? I mean to say, if I don't want to take the shot. Hobby, that's not even an option. Hobby, stay still if you don't want restraint as your gifts. When quietly sat on the bed and was seeing him to prepare the shot for her. The way he carefully cleaned the rubber stopper with an alcohol swab and removed the cap from the syringe, it was so smooth. She knew how professional Hobby was, but still her heart was beating faster. Hobby drew some air into the syringe by pulling back the plunger. Hobby removed the cap from the needle and pushed it through the top vial. He injected all the air into the vial, turned the vial and the syringe upside down so that the needle points upward. He drew back the plunger to fill the syringe with correct amount of medication. Hobby gently tapped the syringe to remove the air bubbles. Hobby put on the cap of the needle to ensure it stays clean. He was done with the preparation of the shot now. He looked at Van. Her eyes were still searching for the place to hide to avoid the shot. Van, come here. He called her, but she remained steadfast in her position. Hobby took the syringe and alcohol swabs and walked towards her. He carefully put the syringe on the table horizontally and looked at her. Van, please, I will never argue with you. I will never get mad. Please, please. Van glided under the blanket as Hobby sat on the bed. A smile on his face was visible as he saw her doing the same childish behavior. He also snuggled into the blanket and carefully took her into his embrace. You look so broken when you cry. he said lovingly while making a strong eye contact with her. I just want you to sleep comfortably. I love when you giggle in your dreams. When sensed that Hobie had already exposed her deltoid muscle. Have you ever got frightened when I give injections to the patients? When no? You were so professional, and it's quite fascinating for me to learn the qualities from you. Hobie, believe me, your doctor husband becomes more nervous when he has to treat you. Please cooperate. Hobie made her sit on the bed and gently spread the skin between two fingers and kept the muscle relaxed. He took the alcohol swab and cleaned the area. When saw him to take the syringe from the table, she closed her eyes tightly as she knew there was no way to avoid him. Hobie removed the cap from the needle and inserted into the muscle and pressed down on the plunger of the syringe to inject the diclofenac. He quickly removed the needle from the skin and disposed of it in a puncture-resistant container. The next moment, one could feel a warm touch on her lips by Hobie's ones, while his hands were still busy to apply a little pressure on her place of injection with the alcohol swab. She opened her eyes and tried to see whether Hobie has done with the shot or not, and she unintentionally broke the kiss. Hobie cupped her face and made her to look at him. Hobie wasn't mad. He wasn't angry, but obviously he closed his eyes in disappointment. One smiled a little, seeing Hobie's childish behavior, and the next moment Hobie could feel a pair of arms wrapping his waist. He opened his eyes and all he could feel her soft lips kissing him, and soon he kissed her back. He entered his tongue into her mouth and explored every corner of her mouth while her eyes were closed in satisfaction. Her grip around his waist was getting tighter and tighter. After a long kiss, they broke it to breathe. He took her into his embrace and laid down on the bed. One could feel that the shirt she was wearing was getting pulled upward, and a big warm palm was gently massaging her abdomen. "It will be better soon," Hobie said after placing a soft kiss on her forehead. Van yawned. "Hobie, you can take some rest." Van, but you were also tired. You don't need to hug me while sleeping. Sleep comfortably. Hobie, I'm sleeping in the most comfortable position. Just close your eyes. Van looked at his face and realized that if there was only one reason to hate him, there was thousands of reasons to love him. She closed her eyes.